Hey guys, Snap here. Second video. In my first video, I mentioned that I am a printmaking minor, and I kind of left it at that. I get a lot of questions when I tell people that I'm a printmaking minor about what printmaking is, so I figured I'd explain it to you guys today. Printmaking, printing, presses. So, like how newspapers were originally made, it was like a set tablet thing, and you put all the words on there, and you run it through a press. You roll the ink on the print thing, on the block, and then the paper comes, it presses, and it continues. It makes a bunch of copies of the same thing really, really fast, which was great. It was like the first copy machine, right? That's not by hand. So there's two things that I personally like to do. One of them is copper plate etching, and the other one is either linoleum relief or wood cuts. So I'll show you linoleum first, and it's exactly that. It is a sheet. I guess it's not really floppy, but it's a thing of linoleum. And you take your tools, they're like carving tools, and you just carve out the pieces. And what you get are the grooves here. You cut them all out and you finish it. And the result is this. So it went from this to this. Roll the ink on there and then put the paper on. Kind of put it through a press, and when it comes off, all the places that you scratched out are now white. You can choose your own ink color. There's different paper colors too. That was just the first. I think this was the first one I did. For relief, toss that over there. The other part of relief that I like to do is woodcut. This is the thing of pine wood. And the other one, I cut away the lines that I wanted to be white. But this one I wanted a lot of white space. So as you can see, I had to actually carve, just like chip away at the board until it was gone. And then the flat surface, I spray painted this to color code it for myself, that's why it's discolored. But then here I carved away to make the white lines. And then this is all white, and then this red part here would get the ink, and so are the words. And you actually can see that one right here. So the circle part is all black because I didn't cut away here. And the words say pin it on someone else, and it's just like a huge safety pin here, and a guy kind of pinned it on someone else. It was theme was propaganda, and it's literally just a block of pine wood. My favorite thing to do is copper plate etching. So I'll show you some of those. Start off with a piece of copper. Different sizes. This one's really tiny. I'm just gonna put a really small thing on here. Copper plates, they go up in size. They get bigger, as big as you want, as long as you have enough acid to etch it in, and a big enough roller. You can really just run over things with your car if you don't have a press. Getting ahead of myself. So a sheet of copper here. Starts off, you take a piece of copper, cut it to the size you want. I like to bevel the edges, sand them down so I don't cut myself on corners. Then you go, and you might see a bunch of scratches on here, but as long as you can't feel like a scratch, then they're fine. If you do feel a scratch, you burn the shit out with some oil, and then polish it. Once it's clean, you roll something onto there, or you might not. If you just throw it in acid, it's ferric chloride acid. You throw it in there for 10 minutes, and it starts to eat away, and all those little grooves and dents in the copper is where the ink will sit. And it's kind of like the reverse of relief, where you cut away. This is you cut where you want the lines to be. So then you roll something on top, and this helps you see what you're drawing or cutting. Here's one that I started drawing on, so I draw on it first before I start scraping into it, and then you scrape into it with a needle. And you don't have to scrape hard, you just have to scrape the red stuff off. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. The shiny parts are where I scraped off the red stuff with a needle. The black part is Sharpie that I drew. And you scrape it all off and you can kind of see that it's, you know, you can cross hatch and whatever you want. This, throw it into acid for 10-20 minutes and then clean it off. Once you clean it off, I had this in my hand just a second. Oh, here you go. Once you clean it off, it's time to put ink on it. And you essentially just rub ink into those grooves and run through a press with the paper on top, peel it off. Here's an example of what I'm working on right now. All those are lines that I scratched, you know, rubbed ink into and then printed onto the paper. The paper is wet. You soak it for maybe 20, 30, 40 minutes. Some people soak it for longer. It's up to you and how much ink you want to absorb. Pat it down with a towel and then run it through the press, and it just sucks up the ink into the paper just like this. So here is an example. And you can throw it in several times. You just roll the red stuff over it again. Like this one, on the squiggly stuff behind him, there's not much there. But then I added more lines, and so you can change that. Keep going. My first etching came out like this. It's really small. There's special things you can do to shade it in. But it is my favorite because it's super detailed, and unlike pencil drawings, charcoal drawings, I don't have to copy it by hand or put it through a copy machine or spray stuff on it to make sure it doesn't get smeared like this. It's set. And you can print the same plate as many times as you want. This stuff really doesn't degrade that much. Here's another one that I did. It's a squid in a bathtub. This stuff here is called soft ground. It makes that kind of like wet, patchy look instead of just straight on lines. So that's printmaking. Oh, here's a relief piece I did a while ago. So, not the etching, but the relief you carve out where you don't want the color to be. Carve some skulls out. I'll show you a really big one that I did. Pardon the super messy room. But, here we go. Woo! Oh, this is a giant. His hand is over there. It's kind of falling off the wall. But there is a scanned, digitized version with stuff on there. Yeah, so my room kind of has all that stuff on there. There's another relief one that I did. Here's the pin it on someone else. Final product. So, there's that. I can't really. So, it's an example of what I do. And if you have a chance, check printmaking out. If it's even just an elective credit, go try it out. It's pretty awesome. Let me know how you liked it, or just Google it, look into it. You can really buy slabs of rubber or linoleum at your local art store, and you can just carve it out. Speedball makes the carvers and the rollers for ink. You can use water-based ink. You can buy the stuff at Walmart. It's not the nicest materials, but you can definitely use it and make your own stuff. Try it out. Till next time.